Very important. And Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch, joins us now. He has called for the dismissal of this case, a pardon, whatever it took, to get Flynn free of this frame-up. Tom, good to have you with us. You have been absolutely tireless in your defense of Flynn and criticism of the Justice Department and FBI. How do you feel tonight about General Flynn with this, ostensibly at least, at this point, off his back?
Well, God bless America and God bless General Flynn. This is a vindication for General Flynn. It's a vindication for folks like you, Lou, and Judicial Watch, who've been highlighting the incipient corruption behind the targeting of Flynn and President Trump through Mueller and everything else. This is a startling document that was filed today. It reads like an indictment of James Comey, and we have to remember this goes back to Barack Obama. Sally Yates admits that Obama discussed Flynn specifically, and the implication was going after him on the Logan Act, which was the fake crime they used to try to impeach him or corner him on perjury. The Justice Department disavowed all of that today. And it shows you, frankly, though, the Justice Department and the FBI had this information for years, yet they continued to pursue and harass General Flynn. And there's something deeply rotten in the infrastructure of the FBI and Justice Department, and it's exposed today. And as you're highlighting, and Senator Lindsey Graham finally highlights, because we call on Mueller to be fired from the get-go because we knew it was corrupt what he was doing.
Right.
The whole Mueller investigation is corrupted. When Barr came in, he should have audited Mueller immediately. What else? You can presume everyone that Mueller touched was corruptly pursued. Everyone should be pardoned. Witnesses, targets, everyone.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting point because obviously the FBI was corrupt from the inception, preceding the special counsel investigation as well. It is a stunning document, as you say, and it is also gratifying that the Attorney General, William Barr, appointed a man, U.S. Attorney Jensen, who moved this to a decision in a matter of months instead of what we have become used to, a painful, prolonged procrastination. This was, I think, a timely exercise of a power to stop an abuse of power.
Yeah, and General Flynn deserves tens of millions of dollars from the federal government for what they put him through. The next step in justice, in my view, that's required are prosecutions of his persecutors. And you see this in the Justice Department filing, who ought to be targeted, James Comey. I mean, if Mr. Durham doesn't talk to Barack Obama, that will be a miscarriage of justice. It goes back to Barack Obama. It's difficult to overstate Obama's role in this, and he's been a protected person, and he shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Well, the entire lot of them at the top of the FBI have been at least, removed from office. They are also, as you say, the product of the Obama era. It is almost, I think, inconceivable, and I want your opinion, to think that a FBI director, a Department of Justice could proceed as they did against the president. In point of fact, as he said today, they went after everyone working for him, it seemed. It is just remarkable. It's unthinkable, in my opinion, that President Obama or the White House did not know what was going on.
Well, look, we've had Comey talk about it. We've had Sally Yates talk about it. Obama knew. He knew about the dossier in this infamous meeting he had on January 5th, 2017. And they all talked about it. Obama was there, Biden was there, Susan Rice was there, Sally Yates was there, Clapper, I think Brennan was there as well. The next day, James Comey took that dossier information and went and ambushed President Trump. Obama knew that was the plan. They talked about it. And then, of course, the document today discloses that Comey, behind the scenes, was pressing the Obama view that this was a Logan Act violation and he was trying to keep it alive, and he was purposely avoiding full disclosure to the President of the United States, the White House, President Trump, about this issue. And he secretly went and sent agents to ambush Flynn. That's not me saying it. That's the Justice Department saying it, relying on the testimony of Obama's appointee, Sally Yates. Sally Yates says she was dumbfounded. She said she called Comey up and said, "You've got to let them know." And Comey said, "No, I've already sent the agents to question Flynn." Oh, Yates says she hit the roof. Now, Yates was obviously involved, too, because she was pushing the Logan Act fraud on the White House as well to get Flynn fired. No clean hands here, Lou. No clean hands.
Yeah. And demonstrated today is in the dismissal, the motion for dismissal, which I presume, I'd like to get your opinion very quickly. Will you be, do you expect Judge Sullivan to approve this motion?
Not only do I expect he'll approve the motion, I expect that he will institute proceedings, potentially criminal contempt proceedings, against those involved in the fraud upon the court. These documents were withheld from the court and the defense. They were withheld from the American people by this Justice Department and this FBI, including the current leadership. What did Wray know, and what did he know? I like to know that. And if I were the judge, I'd be calling in everyone. Put them under oath.
Well, we'll find out what kind of judge Emmett Sullivan really is. He has not been a particularly active judge to this point, with plain evidence staring him in the face throughout. Tom Fitton, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it, and we thank all that you do, as always, at Judicial Watch, and in particular this case tonight, the dismissal of the Justice Department case against General Flynn.